is calling.
OGM News FM for news and entertainment. Sounds pretty good to me. For news and entertainment. Sounds pretty good to me.
OGM News FM for news and entertainment. Sounds pretty good to me.
All right. How are you doing, everybody at home, everybody on our different platform, on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Twitter, on Quora, Blue Sky, Instagram? Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Today is another day of Code Blue, and I really have to apologize for not showing up lately because we have to go through a lot in recent time. The tariff is actually affecting everybody, and I must tell you, I'm one of the people that is being affected somehow, and definitely the companies I work for, and now OGM News is being affected as well with the tariff. Of course, we have to pay for a lot more, for a lot of things that we usually use. And then, just so the back and forth argument that usually go on that the foreign government pays for the tariff, and the president insisting that the foreign government pays for the tariff. I will tell you now, from a first-hand experience, that I have paid outrageously for some import tariff recently. Of course, the foreign countries where these goods are imported from did not pay for the tariffs. I paid it out of pocket. And what that tells you is that, my clients will start seeing some charges on my items. It's as simple as that, because they have to pay for it. Unfortunately, I'm not going to pay for that, because that will be completely outrageous for a small business owner like me who want to make a little profit here and there. I have kids to feed. Anyway, going to today's show right away, we have the first video for you, because we're going to be talking about Senator Chuck Grassley. Senator Chuck Grassley. We're also going to be talking about the trolling, brutal trolling of United States and Donald Trump on the social media, especially on TikTok. Brutal trolling. If you don't have TikTok, you probably would not know what is going on. For some of us, we like to just travel around all these social media just to see what is going on. But I'm telling you, if I say brutal trolling, it is brutal. It is brutal, because they are literally expressing some of the differences that is existing in our businesses for so long. And at the end of the day, I need you guys to go and learn some of these. And in this show today, I will teach you few things on how you would detect that America is not being taken advantage of. That is a lie that you have been told. America is the one taking advantage of the other countries. I mean, how did you think we in this country, how do you think America is the number one country in the world for so many years unchallenged economically. How did you think America made it that far? So suddenly you think Elon Musk, as the richest man in the world, is going to say, oh, my employees are taking advantage of me? That's not how it works. We are number one for a reason. We are number one economically for a reason. And that only tells you that nobody is taking advantage of America. It is the other way around, economically, politically. Okay? But I will let you see these videos yourselves, and then we go through some explanations so you can see exactly what I am trying to say here. But first, let us dig into Chuck Grassley, the senator from Iowa, facing a very angry town hall. Well, not really angry. It turned angry because he's not really answering some of the questions, some of the very important questions that these people were asking, sincere questions. There's nothing malicious about these. I just want everybody saying that these are paid protesters and all that. Stop saying that. Stop saying that. And that is why I really brought you this video, so that you listen to it yourself and see that these are just regular folks, by the way, who voted for this president. If they voted for him, trusting him that he will at least change his ways. You know, some of them trust that, and they really believe that his life was, attempted upon, with the failed assassination. And they just said, man, maybe, just maybe he will, change his ways. Maybe this is a life-changing event when his life was actually attempted upon. But in the end, they were all wrong. They were all wrong. I'm not here to gloat. I'm not here to just say, oh, I told you so. I'm not here to just say, to laugh at these people because they lost out, in trying to pick a president and they picked the wrong one. I'm not here to do that. But I'm just here to just sincerely show you what is going on around the United States of America. This is Iowa. They voted, for Trump. They voted for this president. And this is their senator that they've been voting for years. I'm pretty sure in this particular town hall meeting, Chuck Grassley knows many of them. They are familiar faces. This is serious. If, an average white people in the suburb and in the rural area are now coming out complaining, it simply means they are feeling the pain. They are feeling the heat. And you can always attest to it that everybody is feeling the heat. Everybody is feeling the heat. If you're going around at this very moment and telling everybody that you don't feel anything, that the egg price is going down, like, you always want to say everything that the president say, if you are deceiving yourself around saying all that, you need some head check. You need some brain check. You need some very, very solid medical attention. If you are telling yourself that everything is okay in America, I'm not here today to talk about the immigration problem in which the president actually deport, an immigrant, illegal immigrants in the U.S. that did nothing, absolutely nothing. They can't find anything on him. Now they keep telling you on the camera that, oh, he's MS-13, he's a criminal. They keep, trashing these guys' image. But in reality, in court, they presented papers that shows that they have nothing on him. They have absolutely nothing on this guy. It is quite unfortunate. But I'm gonna sit through these particular video of the town hall where the voters are giving it back to Chuck Grassley in order to answer their question. I'll just take my time over it. I'll be stopping once in a while just to interject, but for the most part, I will let you enjoy it without any much interruption.
You're interested in border security?
Yes. I'm believe very strongly in my Christian faith. I preach on Sundays, and I believe very strongly in we welcome the stranger. Because anybody that is what we've been taught, and that is what the gospel tells us. And I think turning away people who have come here for asylum is one of the most shameful things we are doing right now.
Yep.
I just want to know, for you as a senator, as my elected senator, is there anything you can do so that we can follow international law better, or just the ideals of our country, to be a place of hope? for others, where they can come when they are searching for a home because they have no place else to go.
Take down the Statue of Liberty.
Everything that we can do legally under our laws, we can. We welcome refugees. That's the legal status.
Senator
Well,
Grassley, we're not right
just a minute
now.
until it's quiet so I can hear you.
Oh, Senator Grassley,
Well,
right
I'm
now
not-
we're not. I mean, right now we're not. These changes have been taking place, and that's what concerns me
There's
so
no due
much.
process.
It hurts.
No
You're
due
Aaron.
process.
What I-
Yeah.
Okay.
So with
I
laws.
would welcome refugees and I would welcome people that need asylum.
Are you gonna bring that guy back from El Salvador?
Yeah.
Are you? Yeah. Why not?
Well, because that's not power of Congress.
Supreme Court said to bring him back.
Judges are.
Yeah.
The president isn't upholding the Constitution.
He's defined the
You're on the
Constitution.
Judiciary Committee.
Trump don't care.
If I get an order to pay a ticket for $1,200 and I just say no, does that stand up? Because he's got an order from the Supreme Court and he's just said no.
Yeah. He just said, screw it.
I'll be able to answer your question.
You ignored my letter.
Guatemala.
So before we go on talking about the rambling of Chuck Grassley there, because the poor old guy just didn't have any response. No, I mean, none of the Republican Party have any response now, because they know they do not want to cross paths with this fella in the White House. But they have two choices. They have two choices. They either stand with Americans or go down the gutter with the president. The senators have a job to do. They are watchdog for a purpose. And I said something earlier in one of my shows that we all want this president to succeed. We do, sincerely. I mean, it's going to affect everybody if he doesn't succeed. So we do all want him to succeed. Now, in order for him to succeed, we need the senators to do their job. Rein in on him. Make sure you caution him. Stop this unnecessary tyranny. But in the absence of them doing their job, guess what? It's going to be going from bad to worse. Instead of getting better, things is going to get worse. It's going to get worse. And I pose a very sincere question to especially people who voted for this president. You do want him to succeed. This is not about you poking fun at the Leaves who you pick up a win against. That time has gone. Yeah, good for you. Congratulations, you won. But this now is about you and the country. And the country is going down the drain. You can deceive yourself all you can, all you want. You can pretend that you are losing because you win the election, but yet you are losing. Everybody is losing now. Every one of us is losing. It's not just the Leaves. It's not just some of us who are standing on the fence. It's not just everybody is losing, especially those who voted for this president. Because if you really want him to succeed, you want this guy in the Senate to do their job. Raining on him and caution this president. So that way, the whole system of government can work successfully, and make sure this president succeed. But I do not think you want him to succeed. Some of you who voted for him in the MAGA association, you do not want him to succeed. And that is why you antagonize everybody, telling you the truth about what is going on. You antagonize everybody. Things you don't understand, you antagonize it. I literally hear people saying tariff is the levy put upon the foreign government. Really? Many of you go into arguments you basically do not understand. And it is unfortunate. I will let you go back into the video.
Guatemala, or El Salvador is an independent country. The president
Speak up, please. We can't hear you.
The president of that country is not subject to our U.S. Supreme Court.
I'm pissed.
We're paying them to keep them down there. We don't have to pay them.
The next subject here.
Excuse me, Senator. Senator, excuse me, on that same subject.
Hey,
Excuse me, Senator Grassley, on that same subject. The Constitution, the framers of the Constitution said that every person, not citizen, every person within the jurisdiction of the United States has due process. That has been violated by all of our administration, and we would like to know what you, as the people, the Congress, who are supposed to rein in this dictator, what are you going to do about it? These people have been sentenced to life imprisonment in a foreign country with no due process. Our government cannot do anything. Why won't you?
Because, look, if you think this is not going to affect you, you are deluded. If you think simply because, oh, I don't like these immigrants anyway, and you think this has nothing to do with you, it's not going to affect you, you are completely deluded, and you do not like yourself. You do not like yourself because you don't want the country to look like this. Trust me. A country that is led by a tyranny or a dictator is not good for anyone, even you. If you are telling yourself that this is fine, it's okay, I love the way he's poking at them and punishing them, taking them away. If you are so happy about what is going on right now, trust me, you do not like yourself. Because in the end, this will come back to bite everybody in the back, especially those who vote for him. And that is why some of them who vote for him are gathering in this town hall, are thinking, look, it's time to start acting. You know, it's more or less too late because they should have acted during the election and vote for the right person. I'm sorry. But you kept calling her all sort of names. You're forgetting that you called Hillary Clinton the same names in the book, and the one that is not in the book. Yeah, they edge you close to become so terrible person, so terrible that you call everybody names. Imagine telling yourself, you know, saying it to yourself without actually checking Kamala Harris' record. You didn't know anything about her. You didn't know anything about her history. You didn't know anything about her qualification. And you're telling yourself that she slept her way all the way to the top. Just imagine that. That you make yourself believe that nonsensical idea that she slept her way all the way to the top. Just because you are so adamant, fixated on voting for this. It is horrible, really. It is horrible, really. We have a candidate that is outstanding with every qualification in the book. Every qualification in the book. But we missed that opportunity. And now we all have to deal with this. We all have to deal with this.
Why won't you do your job, Senator?
yeah. It's fine.
Obey the Supreme Court. Trump's not obeying the Supreme Court. He just ignores them.
Yeah, screw it.
He's doing whatever he wants. I'd be okay with that.
But he
Roll around allowing it to happen.
Let the Senator answer.
What is a constitutional crisis? What does that consist of? A constitutional crisis exists when you have a president who ignores the Supreme Court. You have a Congress who fails to rein in a third branch of our government.
That's right.
Who is now violating our Constitution. You took an oath. I do solemnly swear or affirm. Do you remember that, sir? Yes, sir. That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of office of which I am about to enter, so help me God. Sir, Will you act upon your oath?
Yeah, I thought that I was, when I answered, I'll wait till the clapping's done. I thought when I answered this guy's question, I was doing what the Constitution requires. I'm trying to recapture the constitutional authority of Article 1, Section 8, one of the 18 powers of Congress to regulate interstate and foreign commerce by introducing the bill, which is a bipartisan bill,
Yes.
to make some of the mistakes that Democratic Congresses made in 1963 and 1974.
Just imagine that. Just imagine that. What, pause for a second and think about what you just heard a senator of the United States of America said. When he's facing his constituency that are sincerely asking him to do his job and put the president of his own party in check. Just imagine what you just heard him say as response. Look, we kept saying that everybody keeps saying that Trump is ruining this country. No, Trump is not ruining this country. These senators, these congressmen and women are the ones ruining this country. They've been doing it for the past 10 years. That every time this president do or say something, they keep their mouth shut. They won't say anything. By the time they come out, they start defending him. They are doing it now. They've all gone into the gutter. All of them. All of the American senators that are GOP, that are Republicans, are in the gutter alongside with this president. Alongside with this president. And they're ready to take this country with them into the pit. They're all ready to take this country with them into the pit. No element of sincerity, no element that they're going to change. There's no sign at all that they have any good conscience controlling them anymore. It's just money. It's all about money. Elon Musk money, all the billionaires' money, and you can you fathom the idea that these are the same people who are alleging the Democrats of Soros fund, Soros money. They open their mouth wide and gullibly take everything that comes from the White House without challenge. And that is going to sink everybody. I'm going to give you the logic again. Very simple logic, very practical logic, very, very reasonable logic. That if you want this president to succeed, if you want him to be successful, all you have to do is make sure these senators who are in the same party with him call him into order. But with the answer you just heard, do you see these people looking like they're going to do anything soon? No, they're giving up. They've given up on themselves. They're giving up on their power. They're giving up on their duty. They're giving up on their right to be a check on the president. They have given up on the mandate that people gave to them. They have only one job. Only one job. It's not two, it's not three. The other jobs are just subsidiary. Their very first job is to control and check the executive power. They're letting him loose. Look, he's not crazy. If you give a man so much power without checking him, what do you expect him to do? What do you expect him to do? Prediction on the street now is that literally, if he get away with this guy they dump in a foreign country who did not do anything, the prediction on the street is that he's coming for every one of us. Everybody, pick them up, give them label any crime. It doesn't matter. Call them terrorists. It doesn't matter if they do it or not. And vamoose, everybody is going to disappear. One by one. And before you know it, we become Russia. America become Russia, or even worse. unless these people do anything. I literally hear people saying that GOP in Congress are scared of their life. It has got to that point. You are scared of your lives. And we have heroes going to war every day, laying their lives on the floor, on the ground for America. And yet people who are wearing suits in the Congress, scared of their life. Where are the good men? Where are the good men? What happened to the good men in America? What happened to all the good men in the Senate who are willing to lay their lives for this country no matter what? This is unfortunate, and it is bad.
That's
Congress as a whole,
That's what I'm doing.
Congress as a whole,
Yeah.
bipartisan, has the power to act, to bring
Can you wait till they be quiet?
Congress as a whole, bipartisan, has the power to act to bring the executive branch to heel.
Yes.
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 Now,
And they're not doing it.
introducing a bill, yes, that's one thing. But as a whole, the power of Congress to bring that executive branch to heel when they are behaving the way we're seeing, that power exists within you and your other members of Congress. Do you speak to your other persons in the House of Representatives of your party? Do you communicate with them often? Do you discuss any of this with them? Do you hold any concern that Congress will be the next branch that Trump comes for because he is coming for the judicial?
The only tool that you know the Constitution gives Congress to do in regard to disciplining the executive branch is impeachment.
And you missed that opportunity in his first administration. You had two opportunities for that. That was probably one of the only reasons we're having this situation now.
So I do find it interesting that Chuck Grassley is the one suggesting impeachment there. I don't think he gave it a second thought. He didn't think about it before he said it. But I do find that interesting that he's the one now suggesting impeachment. He brought it up in this conversation. In this whole conversation, the first time you're going to hear the word impeachment was brought up by Chuck Grassley himself. Unknowingly, unconsciously, I don't know, but he is the one who brought it up. And yes, that is where we are going soon. You will be surprised. If it's not going to be this Republican House, it's going to be in the next House. But the likelihood of this president being impeached the second time, or the third time, that is very, very sure. The percentage is as high as 90% as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. As soon as these scary cats, these bedwetter, these are coward in the Congress is being dealt with and replaced by people who have some nerves. Yes, that's where we're going next. I'm not going to be surprised if that happens.
What he's done with the stock market, he's done an impeachable offense.
He ignores the next election.
The House initiates impeachment.
Yeah. Would you remember what I started with? I said that the way I conducted the meeting in Hampton, I was chastised before because I didn't allow anything other than people to complain about Trump. So I'm going to go through this list and then we'll go back. You're interested.
He is really telling himself that people are willing to listen to something else. He is really convinced. No, he's not telling himself that. He knows nobody care about anything else but Trump. Chuck Grassley knows quite well that nobody want to hear any brouhaha he has to say. But he just don't want to go through this. He really don't want to be there. You can see literally that he doesn't want to be there. He would rather be somewhere else, sipping on red wine, or probably taking his medication and getting ready to go to bed. But he doesn't want to be where he is right now. It's an obligation that he cannot avoid, or else I don't even see how he's not going to be out of office unless he resigns. Because things are really bad. And it has gone through the roof in the Republican caucus, in the constituency that actually voted him in. Things have touched everybody. They think they're going to escape it. They think other people will be suffering and they will be okay. But now, there's no way out for anyone. Unfortunately, there's no way out for anyone. Everybody is being touched somehow, affected somehow. That is where we are right now. That is where we are right now. Now, the next phase of this show is to take you one after the other through video, popular video on the social media at the moment, where, especially on TikTok, where Chinese are literally brutally trolling Trump online. This is happening on social media. And most of these videos are actually produced directly from China. Yeah, during this war, many things have been happening here and there, but what is obviously happening now is that Chinese generally are exposing America investors, American corporate business. Of course, I use the word exposed because many of you don't know, but many of us knew exactly what these people have been doing, and we've been crying out loud about it. That look, it is not America that is being taken advantage of. It is the other way around. It is America that is taking advantage of every other country around the world. Yeah, USAID, because you think they're giving some money to these countries. Do you imagine what they are getting back in return? Let me give you a practical example. Dick Cheney, the father of Liz Cheney, who used to be the vice president of America, he has a case in Nigeria. You wonder what that is about? Yeah, about some of the problem they create during the involvement in oil crisis. How many billions of naira, of Nigerian naira, and how many millions of dollars were ripped off that society? And the same thing happened around the world. Do not just deceive yourself. America is helping any country. Nothing goes for free. America don't help anybody without getting anything back. Are you kidding me? You think America is that stupid? Father Christmas? Really? We all know it don't exist. I'm sorry, kids, but we all know Santa Claus don't exist. So you think suddenly America is going to turn itself to a Father Christmas and be giving out USAID bonus to every country that needs problem solving? That's not the way it works. They give out this money to get something in return. One, political sustainability. That is, some of these countries assure United States that if anybody is going to attack you around this area, we'll let you know first. So they have political power umbrella around the world. In about 700 places around the world, America is well positioned to oversee everything going on, so that war do not leave overseas and come home to the United States. And they need all these countries to cooperate. And that's what the USAID is for, so that they can help this country out in some little ways, and they can give back by giving America an umbrella to sit in their country so that they can watch everybody around the world. So as this president is busy withdrawing all those funds, removing America umbrella around the world, what do you think is happening? Politically, America is getting weaker and weaker, because now you don't have eyes outside. What you used to do to keep the war outside is no longer possible because the war can come in anytime. Because you do not have, this particular president have already blinded the eyes of America around the world. Unfortunately. Here is the first video from a Chinese a warehouse making bags. Listen carefully. I need you to listen carefully. The reason why I say carefully is because it may be a little hard to hear some of these guys because of the way they talk, of the accent, because they don't live here. They live in China. But American business do business with them. They do business with them. They literally do business with these guys. And sorry, guys, I have a technical issue here, but I'm back. There's a little itch there. Thank you very much for hanging in there and waiting. So now I have this next video from a man in China who owns a warehouse producing bags, especially ladies' bags. And he will explain carefully how these bags were made and who they are making it for and how they get them to the United States and how they outrageously charge everybody who wants to use a Louis Vuitton bag. You know, all these ladies carrying around Louis Vuitton bags, how much they charge you and how much is the production of each one of these bags actually cost. And you will be shocked. I am not, because I know, like I said earlier, I'm a businessman myself. I know, you know. But this corporate business, these billionaires want you to believe that the outside world, the others are taking advantage of America, but it's a lie. It's a big, bold-faced lie to deceive you, to throw you off. They have been ripping everything off. They have been shipping and outsourcing your jobs deliberately because they need outrageous profits. Unreasonable amount of profit. They are greedy. They can't get enough. And that is why they keep shipping out these jobs. Listen carefully.
Some say as long as there's a tag saying made in China, the bag can never be luxury. However, in fact, more than 80% of the luxury bags in the world are made in China. But those luxury brands just won't acknowledge that. They take almost finished bags from China factories back to their own factories and just do the repackaging and logo installing, something like that. That way, the bags will appear at their boutiques as made in Italy or made in France. You know, those sophisticated European countries, which make you feel mysterious, royal, and thus luxury. Now, close your eyes. Let's just do a little, very easy experiment in your head, okay? Imagine that you have an Hermes bag, and suddenly the label on it changed from made in France into made in China, while everything else, like leathers, zippers, and hardware, remain the same. Do you suddenly feel that your bag is not as luxury as before? If you do, that means you have been misled and poisoned by the market campaign of those luxury brands for too long. Welcome to the real world. Now you see, those bags are made in China by our intelligent and diligent Chinese artisans. Let's not be poisoned and misled by the market campaign any longer and be a real person. buy a bag from us, from our factory in China, see the real world for yourself.
So what is basically going on now is that many of these producers, many of these products, many of the producers of these products are now challenging the corporate world. Okay, so imagine if a production cost of Louis Vuitton is about $20, and they are selling it outrageously about $2,000 in America. You just imagine how they're literally turn themselves to vampires and sucking their blood. Everybody in America who want to use a Louis Vuitton, a Nike, I mean, imagine a Nike shoe that people are literally buying for $400, $500, only costs about $40. $40 to make. $40 to make. And these people bring it in with more or less no tariffs, 4% at times. And guess what they do? They outrageously charge on it, make insurmountable amount of profit. And yet, they let you believe that China is ripping America off. Really? Who is ripping us off? Really, who is ripping us off? Ask yourself that. They make some of these items for way, way cheaper, as cheap as $40, and came here to the United States, sell it for $500 or $1,000. Who is ripping us off? They pocket all the profit. They don't create more jobs. That doesn't mean that they will bring some of the jobs back. No. The greed. I've been crying about this for a very long time. I've been telling you guys this for a very long time. The greed. Uncontrollable greed of these businessmen and women, these billionaires. And yet you keep falling for it. We are fighting each other. Unbelievable fighting each other. When we only have one problem. We only have one problem. The corporate world is eating us up dry. That is our problem. I have another video. I have several of them. I'm not going to go through every one of them because there's no time, But you're going to see the logic here that most of these items that is being brought in from China is made so cheap from China. But without tariff, how are people buying Louis Vuitton bag for $2,000? I don't understand. I don't get it. When you obviously make it in one cheap factory in China. I mean, it's not totally their fault. Must you carry a Louis Vuitton bag? Must you? Really, must you carry a Louis Vuitton bag? You don't have to. I don't see the difference. I never do. Between someone who carry a Louis Vuitton bag and somebody who doesn't have a single bag. I see human being. I see human being. I would like to know you deeply in your heart. Not about what you are wearing, not about the shoe you are wearing, and not about the bag you are carrying. Because it means nothing to me. And I sure do hope it doesn't mean nothing to good people out there. But you must carry all these things. You must pay outrageous through the nose for this. Even when they are telling them now that some of these items is being made in China for $50, they will still go to Louis Vuitton store and buy it for $2,000. That is how adamant they are. That is how sick they are to tell themselves, I'm wearing Louis Vuitton. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're just a mugu. In Nigeria, they call it mugu. Mugu is if you're at the back of a swindler or a scammer. If you are the one that is being scammed, you are a mugu. Remember now, that's the same thing as MAGA, because they call them MAGA too. I don't know if you've heard it before. MAGA also mean in Yoruba slang in Nigeria, it also mean a stupid idiot who is being scammed. That's what MAGA means. I'm sorry, but that's what it means. It literally means being scammed. I'll let you watch this next video.
I'm not sure how I ended up on Chinese TikTok, but I am here for it. Have you guys seen the video of the guy exposing Birkin? He's going through the whole process of making the Birkin bags and how much it cost in China. So I think the cost is about $1,500. And then the Birkin turns around and sells them for $33,000. What kind of a profit is that, mofo? What kind of a profit? Well, I'm sure you're seeing this Louis Vuitton Neverfull, and these retail for about $2,000, which probably cost them $20 to make, but you're not going to get me, Louis Vuitton. You're not going to get me. I got this at a garage sale, right? It was $90. Looks just like the real one. No one will ever know. How
It's
will
the
they
real
know?
one.
They won't know that Chinese TikTok taught me this.
Look, of course, they keep telling themselves it's not the real one, but it's the real thing. That is the exact Louis Vuitton. The only difference here is the label. So you are paying about $1,000+ for label. That's the only difference. The letter is the same. The stitches is the same. The coloration is the same product. As a matter of fact, the producer is the same. They are making this bag for them. And they're going to bring it down here and sell you the name, Louis Vuitton name, for $2,000. And you're going to go flashing around like you're a big thing. You're not a big thing. You're nothing. You're just a MAGA. Sorry, not the other MAGA, but this MAGA is coming from a translation of Nigerian language, MAGA, which is stupid, that is being scammed. That's who you are. I'm really happy. I'm really happy that I never fall for any designer items. I do have the money, but I never do. The only iPhone that I carry, is strictly to manage business. Strictly to manage business that I know the Android would not be able to manage. I don't even have a line on it. Nobody calls me on it, and I don't call nobody on it. That's the only iPhone I have is to manage business, because I do not believe in outrageously charging people just to be able to make call and surf through internet. And then you think you are a big thing because you are using an iPhone. No, you're not. No, you're not. I can carry as much as 10 of the latest one. But why will I carry even one when I know quite well that you are outrageously being scammed with these items? Scammed. Like, brutally scammed. I hope your eyes is being opened here. I hope these China guys, this Chinese store or this Chinese producer are helping to open your eyes to see that you have been scammed all along, to pay outrageously for designer bags, for designer shoes, for designer items when it costs little to nothing to produce. Unfortunately, this is the only country where we still have a rural area that doesn't have internet. As I'm telling you now, you would think in your little home that Nigeria is a poor country, is a terrible country, is a third world country, but there's no place you go to in Nigeria that you will not surf through the internet. No place, no village. There's no place you will go to in Nigeria that you will not be able to go on the internet. Unfortunately, there are rural areas in America where people cannot, in fact, People are completely aloof to what internet is. If you tell them they can go online and find things, they will look at you like, really? In America. In America. Simply because these billionaires, first of all, know that these things are very cheap to afford, but they will make it outrageously high for you so that you cannot afford it. Then secondly, they do not want people in the rural area to be educated. Because if you are enlightened, they are in trouble. If you are enlightened, the billionaires are in trouble. In the rural America, if you are enlightened, the politicians who you've been voting for all these years are in trouble. That is why they attack education. That is why they attack woke. You know what woke really is? Forget what you've been hearing. Forget all the things you've been hearing. Forget all the nonsense they've been telling you. Woke is to wake up. Period. It has nothing to do with transgender. It has nothing to do with all the idea they've been selling to you just to make you hate the others. No. Woke is simply wake up. Be enlightened. See the light of knowledge. They're killing your schools. They want to take kids into factories to work like they do in China. Plus, they're telling you work is a bad thing. No, it's not. It's just waking up to be enlightened. You are an adult. You have the choice to pick and choose what you want and you don't want. You do not want any pastor to tell you not to listen or to watch something or to read a book. You read it. Decide on your own. You are an adult. You are an adult for goodness sake. For goodness sake. Yeah, you can tell a child, do not read that until maybe you get to a certain stage or age. But for an adult to be told not to be enlightened, are you kidding me? Why do you bamboozle yourself? Here is another one from a factory in China.
They rob you blind and you thank them for it. That's a tragedy. That's a scam. That's why I'm saying this right now. Americans, you don't need a tariff. You need a revolution. For decades, your government and oligarchs won't ship your job to China. Not for diplomacy, not for peace, but to exploit cheap laborers. And in the process, they hollowed out your middle class, crushed your working class, and told you to be proud while they sold your future for profit. And yes, China made money, but we used it to build roads, lift millions out of poverty, fund healthcare, raise living standard. We reinvested in our people. My family also benefited from it. What did your oligarchs do? They bought yachts, private jets, mansions with golf course driveways. They manipulate the market, dodged tax, and poured billions into endless wars. And you get stagnated wages, crippling healthcare costs, cheap dopamine, debt, and flagged wave poverty made in China while they pick your pocket. For 40 years, both China and the United States benefit from the trade, the manufacturing, but only one of us use that wealth to build. This isn't China's fault. This is yours. You let this happen. You let the oligarchs fit your lies while they made you fat, poor, and addicted. Now they blame China for mess they made. I don't think so. I don't think you need another tariff. You need to wake up. You need to take your country back. I think you need a revolution.
Okay, while I am not in any way, shape, or form promoting the last part, revolution, well, revolution comes in various forms though, okay? But while I may not be promoting a political revolution, economic revolution can be done. It's viable. And I'm glad that some people have been taking up on it to boycott some stores who are actually, adopting some evil policies. Yeah, you can boycott stores. You can tell yourself you don't want to drive Tesla. You don't have to. There's nothing wrong in that. You haven't broken any law. It's not a political stand, it's just an economic stand, telling yourself, look, this guy is charging me too much, I don't want to buy it. I'd rather go for the Chinese made. Why not? And listen carefully to some of the ideas that he's telling you there. You know, you can give him a middle finger all you can, but listen carefully. These billionaires have been going to China for years, asking China people to make items for cheaper. They bring it back to the United States and sell it to you outrageously. Some of you keep paying for it. Some of you who cannot pay for it cannot get a job. Your job is already shipped out. Believe me, the job is not coming back. Yes, you can go to school and go learn some automation, some automated method of actually producing materials, but the handiwork, you know, that fool on TV telling you you're gonna make phone with, you're gonna screw tiny little bolts on iPhone, that guy is just full of himself. That's one of the people that make it hard for me to believe that billionaires are actually smart. He thinks people screw little screws on iPhone in China. No, those are robotic method that made these things. Nobody screwed those things with hands. It's done by the robots. Yes, there are humans there who program the robots. There are humans there who overhaul, manage, and maintain the robots. There are people working in the factory who knows about automation, who knows about computers. That is the next stage for everybody. You have to go and learn that if you really want some of these jobs to come back. But the idea that is because China is taking all your jobs. No, that's not the idea. It's because our billionaires, our corporate business are too greedy to make you get any of these jobs. They cannot pay you all your wages. So they'd rather go and pay the cheap wages in China. Rather than give you $8 here in America for an hour, they rather give 50 people $8 an hour in China. And yet, you will be shocked how much life is still affordable for people in China than here in America. Nobody will be satisfied getting paid $8 per an hour here in America. But 50 cents an hour in China is a huge amount that will take care of your livelihood. Comfortable housing, medical care, that we are asking you to fight for here, but you keep supporting these millionaires to come to the Congress and you're not voting for them to come and serve you. No, you vote for them basically to come and rule over you. Ruling over you is different. In democracy, they are supposed to be serving you. I don't get it. I don't get it. Everybody knows that MAGA is nothing but people who want to be scammed, who love themselves to be scammed. That's what MAGA means in Nigeria, if you must know. But it is only you that don't know that, and you keep voting them back into in the office. Keep worshiping billionaires, keep worshiping millionaires. All the senators, all the congressmen from Republican Party, they are all millionaires. I can't think of any one of them that is not rich. I can't. I look around, but I can't find a single one of them that doesn't have $1 million or plus bucks in their wealth. Those are the people you worship. Those are the people your churches make you worship. Yeah, we need to revolutionize America. But I'm not talking about political revolution. I'm not talking about where people are literally protest to take over their government. No, that's not what I'm saying here. But revolutionize economically. We have to, at some point, stop letting them take us for a ride. Well, I'm going to put it to a stop here. Thank you very much for listening to me on the YouTube, for listening to me on the Facebook, on Twitter, on TikTok, on Instagram, on many of our social media platforms that I don't even know what they are. But you are there somehow. Thank you very much for listening. And if you are listening on the OGM News FM radio, thank you very much for listening. This is Sala Blue, and this is Code Blue in America. It's always Code Blue in America. It's not just about this president. Even before this president, it's always Code Blue in America, one way or the other. And we will be here to always give you exactly the truth, nothing but the truth. I'll see you next time. Thank you very much for listening and for staying with me through these.
Won't you use FM for news and entertainment? Sounds pretty good to me.
OGM News FM for news and entertainment. Sounds pretty good to me. For news and entertainment. Sounds pretty good to me.